guys, we're back for another vlog. Today I wanted to share with you some of the things I've learned to help get through the bad days. I think we all know what that means, when you flare really bad and things are really rough. And I'm definitely going to be taking my own advice on this piece pretty soon, because I'm heading out to go riding today. It's a Sunday. I was just driving down 101 and the temperature gauge in my truck said there was 105 degrees outside. So yeah, that's cool. That's really, I'm really gonna pay for that next week, no doubt about it. Good news is it's cooling off a little bit. It's like 94 now that I'm getting farther south, which is weird. But anyways, I'm definitely gonna be hurt next week, no doubt about it. And I make these decisions from time to time and I weigh the cost versus reward, but I love to be outside. I love to ride anything with two wheels. It brings me a lot of joy, and you know, it helps get my mind off of things and helps reset me a little bit. So basically, even though that I know it's gonna hurt me a little bit, it's worth it. And today I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that my flare isn't that bad next week. So I've brought a bunch of cold water with me. I'll fill up a CamelBak, throw some electrolyte tabs in there, and I'll have that with me. I'm gonna keep the ride much shorter than I did last week. I think I did a little over 2 hours, so today maybe we'll just do an hour, a little bit over that, and then call it a day, and draw that line there, know where my limit is at. So I'll get into it. I think the first thing that I've learned on those horrific days, those bad days where you're just like in that deep dark hole, where you feel like absolute crap, your pain is at its worst, your symptoms are at its worst, emotionally you're probably in a horrific place, you feel horrible about life, you're probably sick of being sick and you're wondering when it's all going to end. The thing, and this is the number one thing that I've learned, is that just to know that these days do not last. And you know that you're going to feel a little bit better the next day and the day after that and the day after that. So if you can just focus on that one thing and know that you're not going to feel like that forever, it's super important. And believe me, I know it's easy to say in words, but a lot harder to put in practice, because I've been there. And as much as I remind myself, I still, at an emotional level, struggle a lot. I mean, on my bad days, they're really bad. There's definitely a hormonal component to my flares, where I get extremely depressed. I mean, like morbidly depressed, questioning my life, and just not caring about anything. But as fast as it comes on is as fast as it leaves, and I know that I'm going to get over it, and I just keep reminding myself that. And so point number 2 that I would make is that make your recovery a priority. So do whatever you have to do on those days to take care of yourself. Personally, like, I know if I'm flaring, or I know that I'm going to flare, thankfully I have enough flexibility with my current job that I can go in a little bit later and stay a little bit later. So I'll sleep in on the days that I know that I'm gonna feel like crap, because my priority is making myself healthy again. Because if I'm not healthy, I'm not gonna be productive at work, I'm not gonna be productive in my life. So it doesn't make sense to keep on pushing it and work through it, because that never works, it just makes it worse. So I do what I gotta do to make myself as healthy as I can, as quick as I can. So usually, you know, I'll sleep in a little bit on a work day, I'll come home from work and I immediately get into my PJs and just lounge in bed, and I give myself permission to do that. And you know, I'll shut the door to my room, and I block everything out, and not in an unhealthy way, but in a loving way. I know that I need to shut myself down. I know that without me doing that, you know, I can't be any good for my roommates or anybody else in terms of talking or listening. You know, I'm not good company on those days. I have to be real with myself. I know that I'm not. And the best thing for me to do is just shut down, and not judge myself for that, and be forgiving of that, and just know that I need to completely chillax, and disconnect myself from everything. Number 3 is knowing to go to certain things that make you feel supported and get your mind off of those dark places. and one of the things that I've more recently stumbled across is social media, and it's one of the things that's inspired me to do this, because even though I fit into the millennial generation, I'm like the least technologically apt person you'll ever meet. Like, I suck with technology. I'm just not good with it, if that's not already obvious. And I'm completely awkward when I do this stuff, if that's not already obvious. But I recognize the importance of this stuff. I mean, I started contributing more to forums, and if I'm having a bad day, I'll put that out there, and I'll just be like, hey, can anybody relate to this? Or if somebody else posts something, I'll respond to it. And I try to do that as much as possible, because the great thing about that is you're sharing your experience and you're helping somebody else, which gets the focus off of the crap that you're dealing with in the moment. And the beauty of it is you're helping somebody in the process a lot. And, you know, I think one of the biggest and hardest aspects of this illness is that it's so hard to find a support group, because we're all too sick to meet each other in person. Like a lot of the chronic illness support groups in my area, first of all, they're few and far between, and second of all, people are too sick to go to them, and half the time you have a meeting scheduled, usually the moderator ends up getting sick, and they can't hold the meeting. So it's really hard for us to get out there. So I think the next best thing is forums, and even better than that, I really think YouTube is a great thing. I think it's more personable when you do it that way and you share your experience, because people can feel like they know you, and almost, you know, they're there in your life, and you're fighting this thing together. So I would encourage any of you that are watching content on YouTube to share your experience, share that journey. Which brings me to point number 3. If you're using social media as like an outlet just to listen to other people's stories or to share, I encourage you to keep on sharing. You know, maybe on those bad flare days, that's, if you can, if it's within your power and your means, you have the energy to do it, just make a quick, like, 3 or 5 minute video. Just tell people where you're at, and you know, just be real about it. Just be real about what you're going through, because if there's anything that I know to be true in this world, whatever you have gone through, there's somebody else that's gone through it too. And hopefully they're out there and they see what you put out there, and they'll comment and they'll give you some advice. I've personally have found a couple of people on YouTube that actually offer up their personal contacts for you to reach out to them, and I think that's amazing. Like, if you're one of those people and you're watching this, thank you for doing that. I mean, that's really brave of you to do that, and it's just selfless. I mean, you're struggling a lot as it is, and I'm sure you need someone to talk to you, but you're putting yourself out there as a resource to help people out, and that's fucking awesome. So thank you for doing that. I think another point, I don't even know what number I'm up to. I do these things completely off the cuff. I usually do it while I'm driving, if that's not already obvious, but it's the best time for me to do it. But I'd say the next key thing to helping yourself out is, I think pets are amazing. I think there is definitely therapeutic value in having a pet, and you know, there's nothing better than the unconditional love that a pet's going to give you. You know, whatever your thing is, a dog, a gerbil, a cat, whatever. You know, obviously just pick wisely, because some pets are meaner than others. I currently have a cat that has a lot of attitude. She was a foster cat, and you know, my ex-girlfriend actually had got her and brought her in, and she got her because she was one of the most feisty animals at the shelter. So, you know, in hindsight, might not have been the best pick for somebody who is ill, but I make that decision for myself. But that cat has still brought a lot of joy into my life. She brings a lot of joy to life, and everybody in my household, actually. She's got a lot of personality. We have a lot of fun with her. She's not the most cuddly cat, but you know, she knows when something's wrong with you. In the beginning of this year, actually, I had gotten this like stomach bug, and I was throwing up every 10 to 15 minutes, like violently, and I did it all throughout the night. And that cat followed me into the bathroom, sat with me in the bathroom, and then when I crawled 15 feet away to the carpet of my bedroom floor, she was laying on top of me. Like, she knew something was wrong. So it's like, you have a buddy there, you got the buddy system going on, you know. So I would definitely recommend, you know, getting a pet if you can. You know, if your landlord allows, even if your landlord doesn't allow, you know what, screw it. You're fighting a battle. Just keep it a secret. Figure out a way to keep it a secret. Get the animal in there, and you know you're trying to survive. You're doing the best you can day to day, and you got to do the best you can do. I think the next thing I would say is, you know, just adding to the recovery thing, try to find some things that help you out. Maybe it's taking a long warm bath, like an Epsom salt bath or something, and you know, just soak around in there. You know, soak around in a bath, put some headphones in, listen to some people on YouTube, listen to some soothing music. You know, and also stay on top of your hydration. I know I probably sound like a broken record. How many people have probably told you that? And how many people have probably told you stay on top of your nutrition for the day? But it is important, you know, on those bad days. You just want to do everything you can to stack the things in your favor so you can get better. And another thing I would say is, for most of us, when you are flaring and you're having a bad day, there's really there's nothing you can do on those days. Sometimes there's you can't even read a book. You don't even want to watch TV because you feel so crappy. The noise of the light is going to bother you. And you kind of just have to cocoon yourself in a blanket and just wish it away. And it sucks. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do. But I think sometimes the best things that you can do for a flare on the days that you don't have a flare. In other words, it's enriching your life when you are feeling a little bit better. And, you know, I'm still in that phase where I'm learning new things to bring into my life to enrich the time where I'm feeling a little bit better. Or maybe I'm on one of those days where I'm not healthy enough to go out and ride dirt bikes or go to the gym or even go for a walk, but I'm I feel good enough to do something. And one of those things I've done is doing the vlog stuff and contributing on forums. You know, when somebody posts a message, you know, I usually contribute to Lyme disease forums because that was my previous diagnosis. You know, I'll share with them what I've learned, or just, you know, let them know that they're heard. And sometimes it's the best thing you can do for people. I mean, we've all if you've been struggling with your illness for a while now, it's likely that you know everything there is to know about your illness or close to it, and you've heard every bit of advice that's out there. And sometimes the best thing for you is just to be heard, so that people know that you're heard and that other people are going through that with you and they can relate to it. I think that's a great gift to give somebody, is just to be able to listen to them without giving unsolicited advice. And lastly, I would say you got to build up a support group around you. So part of that could be, you know, social media, online, but also keeping good company in your life. You know, if you have a couple of really good friends, or hopefully you have supportive, loving family members, reach out to them on the days where things are really bad. I recently had a family member reach out to me and things weren't going so great in her life, and I'm so grateful that she reached out to me. I haven't talked to her in a while, and I was grateful that she said something to me, because it seems so much like she's going through it alone and she doesn't have to. So I'm grateful that she did that, and I personally need to learn how to do that more, because there is therapeutic value in that, obviously, and people want to know what's going on in your life. The people that truly love you want to be there for you, and they want to help you through it. They want to walk through it with you. If they can take on some of that weight, they will. So reach out to those people, and if you need to get professional help, reach out to those professionals. Unfortunately, there's very few people out there that understand chronic illness, and it can be exhausting to find somebody that really understands it and can be really supportive. But you know, so again, on those days where you're feeling a little bit better, that's a good thing to do. Keep, you know, search the web, search forums, see if you can find somebody that will help you out. See if there's support groups in your area. If there's support groups in your area, get on that immediately whenever they meet up. If you're healthy enough and able to get out there, you know, make those connections with those people, because those people, you can have an instant connection with some of those people, and they could become really good friends, and you can kind of be, you know, buddies through this, and to walk through, you know, walk that journey together. So I think that's it. That's all the tips that I have right now. Maybe I'll be able to add to that a little bit more in the future when I get a little bit smarter and wiser on this. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are having an easy weekend. I hope you're feeling good. Until next time, get some rest.